This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Safety recommendations. Nova Scotia committee urges changes following a fatal youth motorcycle crash. Olympic inspiration. Ellie Black returns home to inspire young athletes at a gymnastics super camp. And Unsung Heroines. A new Parisboro play spotlights the untold stories of Canada's World War I nurses.
Unsettled conditions, heavy rain for some with thunderstorms to wrap up Thursday. Could be unsettled again for Friday. The weekend is looking nice, though, and I'll have your full forecast just ahead.
Good evening. A tragic loss is raising questions about the rules covering motorcycle riding in this province. A youth died in a recent crash, and the incident was the subject of a review by the province's Child Death Review Committee. That committee released its report today. Blair Rhodes has the details.
There's a lot we don't know about this case. The province protects the identities of those involved and focuses instead on lessons that can be learned. The committee makes the point in this report that the youth in this case was not legally permitted to drive a motorcycle at the time of the crash, so no rules would have changed the outcome. But committee chair Dr. Matthew Bowes questions whether restrictions should be considered on the size and power of motorbikes available to new riders.
I would have thought, frankly, that that fact would be so obvious that it would barely need proving. But when I actually drill down the literature, I think it's a little bit more nuanced than that, actually, which surprised me. But I think that what the committee wanted to do, frankly, was put it to the public and put it to the minister for reflection and study and then see how it might be incorporated into our thinking on safety.
Bowes says it's not as easy as it sounds because more data is needed to determine whether tighter restrictions are the answer.
The problem is that with any rare circumstance in this province, it's hard to build statistically significant conclusions from that. And I think that because of that, we have to look to other jurisdictions and other places where they have more numbers and perhaps be guided by that. But I think that the job of the committee, I think, is to identify this as an issue and put it to the public for more reflection.
The committee also looked at the government services available to the youth in this case, who was in care at the time. It found that better coordination is needed so that youth are aware of what services are available to them. Blair Rhodes, CBC News, Halifax.
The RCMP is investigating the discovery of human remains in Colchester County. Police say officers received a report of possible human remains found in a wooded area near Debert late last month. The remains are those of a man, and police believe criminality was a factor in his death. Investigators are still trying to confirm the man's identity and cause of death. A Dayton man is facing child sexual abuse and exploitation charges after an investigation by the RCMP in Yarmouth. Police say they got a tip last week that a 55-year-old man in the area had created child sexual abuse and exploitation material. Officers executed a search warrant at a home in the area and seized electronic evidence. The man is now charged with possessing and making child sexual abuse and exploitation material. Police believe there may be additional victims. Halifax Water is sharing new details about a privacy incident that took its web portal offline. The customer portal, where people can access their bills, has been down since March. A review has found that an issue with the portal's platform exposed the personal information of 16 customers. That breach included people's names and email addresses, but not financial information. The utility says a third party did send a warning in February.
There are some people that will identify that there might be a vulnerability or they can see something and they flag it to that entity, that business, that corporation, to identify that basically almost like as a Good Samaritan type feature. So they flagged it. Unfortunately, we thought it might have been spam when it first came in, but we've since put measures in place to escalate and elevate those so that we're more aware and respond quicker to something like that in the future.
The web portal remains offline while the security issues are being addressed and paper bills are still being issued. There is no timeline for when the portal will come back online. Fewer Nova Scotians are on the wait list for a family doctor or nurse practitioner. Nova Scotia Health says just 54,000 people were on the Need a Family Practice registry as of August the 1st. That is a drop of just under 4,000 people from the month before. The health authority says the number reflects ongoing changes to the registry. 5% of Nova Scotia's population is currently on the registry. A public transit system that runs between Digby and Kings counties got a big boost today. As the CBC's Michael Gorman reports, the government funding to buy new buses is part of broader efforts to drive ridership.
It's not been easy keeping things on track in recent years at Tidal Transit.
When things are going well, we have 13 buses that are in our fleet, and this year we've had about 8. So it's been challenging to keep buses on the road. It's been challenging to show up on time.
But things are looking up. The service is getting $8 million from the federal government and $2 million from the province to cover the cost of 6 new buses and upgrades to the bus depot for a service that stretches from Digby County to Kings County.
It is not easy to run a public transit system outside of HRM, outside of a bigger city, but it's extremely important, even more so, because the distances our residents have to travel for those that don't have access to a vehicle, who need the ability to either get themselves to work, to get themselves to appointments, to be able to get to and from where they need to go is extremely important. And without Tidal Transit, that just simply wouldn't be available.
It becomes, as one person said to me a moment ago, almost a linear city. The whole Highway 1, people are living all along it because they need the bus service, and the reliability of the bus service is so important.
Reliability has been one of the challenges facing the service in recent years. The new buses announced Thursday and others that are also on order will help to change that. Another recent change is the service's name. Formerly known as Kings Transit, the service recently rebranded to Tidal Transit to better reflect the broad group of municipal ownership.
Kings Transit didn't feel like it really represented everyone. So Tidal Transit, we're all tidal communities. We're all connected in that way. So the Tides just felt like the right way to move us. And it also opens the door for future expansion.
Along with the service rebrand and the new buses that will begin arriving in the coming years, Hodges says they're also attempting to boost ridership and confidence with a new schedule that launched this month. So far, that's gone well, with all buses running on time. Michael Gorman, CBC News, New Minas.
Nova Scotia has a new search and rescue ship. The Canadian Coast Guard officially put the Myra Bay into commission today in Sydney. The ship is a high-endurance search and rescue lifeboat specifically designed, equipped, and crewed to respond to incidents at sea. Its arrival marks a major milestone. All 20 new Bay-class lifeboats are now officially delivered and on duty throughout the country. Commanding Officer Adam Costello says the ship is an upgrade from the previous fleet.
We really love these new vessels. They're much more like the bigger vessels in their handling and their maneuvering. They have a lot of power. They go 25 knots, so we can get out pretty quick. And they're much more comfortable, which obviously we very much enjoy.
These vessels are also self-righting and can operate at up to 100 nautical miles from shore. Jay Scotland is back with us again tonight. Our first quick look at the weather forecast, Jay.
Yeah, and the day wrapping up very differently than how it started. Some wet weather, unsettled conditions with thunderstorms that are producing some very heavy downpours for parts of the province. So you want to keep your phone by you for those weather alerts, as there is the potential for localized but still very heavy downpours. Could last an hour or two, just looking at the track of those storms as they move through. We're going to keep that risk in through the evening hours for additional showers and periods more moderate to even heavier rain with that thunderstorm potential this evening. For most areas overnight, aside from up towards the Northumberland Strait, east into Cape Breton, we will see that thunderstorm risk diminish, and that sky does begin to clear overnight. Some fog patches are certainly possible, though, that could linger into tomorrow, and then the clouds do increase again. Showers possible into the morning hours, but really it's as we get into the afternoon, it'll be a more scattered, isolated chance, a lower probability, but late afternoon, evening, you do have a good chance of more thunder showers to bubble up, and those could persist into the early evening hours as well. We'll break down the timeline for your Friday, Tom, and take a look at what is shaping up to be a lovely weekend. Your full forecast is coming up.
Sounding good. Okay, we'll talk in a bit, Jay. Thanks. Well, the Alta Gymnastics Club in Halifax is hosting a super camp this week. It's where young gymnasts will get to learn from top athletes, including Nova Scotian and four-time Olympian Ellie Black. Colin North reports.
It's Ellie Black! It's gold again!
A few weeks after making history at the Glasgow 2026 Commonwealth Games, Ellie Black is back in Halifax, training the gymnasts of tomorrow, in the gym where she got her start.
I did it when I was younger. I made lifelong friends through doing Super Camp. I got exposure to incredible coaches and other Canadian teammates, and it was just like inspirational for me. So I think that's something that Super Camp is all about.
The Alta Super Camp has brought some of Canada's greatest gymnasts for a week of training, from balance beam to floor to technical flips and jumps. Coaches, including Black and two-time Olympian Renee Cournoyer, help give young gymnasts a taste of the higher level.
Have a big training camp together with actual Olympians, guiding them, giving them hints and counsel, as opposed to only the national team who accesses these kind of events usually. So it's a great way for younger kids to experience that and have fun doing it.
The camp has competitors from ages 8 to 22, with some having attended previous super camps. They are learning from their idols and meeting like-minded gymnasts.
Last year, I really improved on my vault, and I got first place in Fredericton at a competition on vault.
I really like meeting new people and like knowing some people have like the same fears of me and some people like have the same skills as me. So it's not like I'm alone.
Alta has been a presence in Halifax gymnastics since 1991. David Kikuchi is a two-time Olympian and longtime coach. He says Nova Scotia wasn't always known for its strength in the sport, but athletes like Black have changed that.
She's, one of or the best gymnast in Canadian history, and so Nova Scotia really has built on that, and so we've got athletes that want to come train here.
For Black, aside from the skills and hints that she teaches, she hopes she can inspire the next generation of gymnasts to appreciate themselves.
Their gymnastics journey can be whatever they want it to be, and not to feel stressed or pressured or rushed and comparing themselves to others, because everyone's gymnastics journey is different.
Colin North, CBC News, Halifax.
A piece of women's history is taking center stage in Parsboro. Bluebirds tells the story of nurses serving in World War I. Luke Ettinger has more on the Ship's Company Theatre's latest show.
Meet Christy, Maggie, and Bab, a trio of nurses caring for wounded Canadian soldiers in the Great War.
Well, they're all very different women, and this job and this purpose of serving people really brings them together.
Natasha McClellan is directing the show at Ship's Company Theatre. The title, Bluebirds, was an affectionate nickname, inspired by the bright blue uniforms nurses wore serving in World War I.
The story is really remarkable. There's beautiful singing in it, and there's really powerful performances in it. It's just three women, and they don't stop moving the whole show. It's quite something to behold. It's a great experience.
And she'll make a good soldier too.
At the Ship, we're always looking for untold or undertold stories. This story of the Bluebirds I had never heard of before. And when I say undertold or untold, I mean like stories that don't get really taught in schools or don't get made into the big blockbuster films.
Bringing the show to Parsboro inspired Vingo Cram to learn about local bluebirds.
There she is.
Like Minnie Follett, the Port Greyville nurse died in 1918 when a hospital ship was torpedoed by the Germans.
They were soldiers, 100%, and they saw so much of the devastation. So I think it's a really beautiful perspective and really teaches us about what they did and how much of an impact they had.
Playwright Vern Thiessen developed the show with McClellan during the pandemic.
And when we were developing it just after COVID, we had this new view of nurses and people in the medical system getting us through COVID. And so the first time we did it, I couldn't stop crying every time I watched it, like overwhelmed with pride and like a sort of fierceness about it all.
Bluebirds runs at the Ship until August 30th. Luke Ettinger, CBC News, Parsboro.
And Jay Scotland will be back next with your full weather forecast. We'll see you in just a few minutes. Full weather forecast. Jay Scotland back with us, and some dampness at the end of today, and more in the forecast.
Yeah, I mean, dampness, and then where we're seeing those thunderstorms as we look north of the HRM, some very heavy downpours, and the track of them means even though they're moving fairly quickly, the way those storms have been oriented just means you're just getting hit one after the other with that heavy rain potential. That should diminish a little later this evening, though, but just keep the phone handy so you've got those weather alerts just because of that heavy rain potential where we're seeing those thunderstorms occurring. Temperatures were, warm enough today and just enough humidity, which is atmospheric moisture, to fuel the heavy downpours. You just need something to tap into it, like digging the well deep enough, and certainly we did see those thunderstorms reaching up high enough into the atmosphere to tap into that moisture. You can see that line of storms continuing to track in an easterly, east to northeasterly direction. Anywhere under these storms, looking at locally heavy downpours. So they may be brief, but the way they're oriented means you get more than just one of them. And even though they're brief, those downpours in some areas can be fairly intense. Also can produce some locally strong winds, in addition to the potential for lightning. As we have thunderstorms, that is, of course, the greatest risk to safety. So when thunder roars, be sure to head indoors, head inside for cover. Over the next little bit, though, we will watch later this evening for that to diminish. Most areas overnight will actually see the sky starting to clear. We'll see the potential for thunderstorms, though, as we look overnight east of Truro, up into Northumberland through Cape Breton. You're likely to see the showers, that risk for some heavier downpours with thunderstorms persisting past midnight. Otherwise, showers should be done shortly after midnight for much of mainland Nova Scotia, certainly for the HRM and areas further south and west. Into tomorrow morning, what we're seeing setting up here is fog. So just be mindful tomorrow morning. Visibility may be a bit of an issue if you're getting an early start to your Friday commute. Once the fog lifts, we see breaks of sunshine in the morning, but we do have that chance of showers developing for the Halifax area mid to late morning, and then into the afternoon, showers with periods of more moderate rain if we see thunderstorms bubble up. Should be more of a scattered or isolated chance tomorrow versus what we saw today, but just know that that risk is certainly there through the afternoon and into the early evening. Does begin to clear as we get into the latter part of the evening, and really clearing out as we look Friday night into Saturday morning. We see a wind coming in from the northwest that will usher in cooler air, but much drier air. That sees that cloud cover dissipating, sunshine returning. Temperatures, because it will be so sunny, will still be warm, but we're not oppressively humid for Saturday. Very sunny conditions. This forecast model picks up on a few very isolated showers. Others are not showing it, though, and I'm not convinced you're going to see showers on Saturday. I'm expecting almost uninterrupted sunshine for most areas. We've got tomorrow to give you another update on that, but Saturday, I think, should be pretty nice. Just have to get through the unsettled conditions tonight, and then potentially again tomorrow as we look into the afternoon hours with that risk of thunderstorms for much of the province. Not all. We'll break it down for you now. Fog is possible in addition to that thunderstorm potential this evening. You'll see the showers winding down towards midnight, Halifax, and back towards more southern areas where the rain is already clearing out. As we look up towards the north and east of Truro, as we get up towards the Northumberland shore, so into New Glasgow, for example, you could see showers and thunderstorms persist for a few hours past midnight. Certainly a higher risk the further north and east you are. So that means Port Hawkesbury up into Cape Breton. That thunderstorm risk will be there past midnight for you as well. As we get into tomorrow, fog patches and maybe a few showers starting to build in for the Halifax area mid to late morning. I do expect a clearing trend for the South Shore region. So you'll see sunnier conditions up towards Kentville. I think by late afternoon should be done with that potential for thunderstorms, but Truro, Halifax, and east will see that persisting late afternoon, even into the early evening hours, possibly well into the evening hours for more eastern areas. And temperatures will be cooler tomorrow because of that blustery and cool northwesterly wind. We'll be looking at those gusts for the HRM up over 30 kilometers per hour by late afternoon, near 40. Coastal areas could see some higher gusts as well, but that is cooler and drier air building in, and that means cloud cover will start to dissipate, and we'll see that sky really clearing up Friday night into a Saturday morning. So maybe a little unsettled at times for your Friday. The potential is there for some heavier isolated pockets of rain where we see those thunderstorms bubble up, but that very different story into Saturday. Daytime heating, getting that temperature up into the low to mid 20s, but not much in terms of a humidex as it is much drier air. Clouds do begin to build late in the day on Sunday. Should be pretty decent, though, with temperatures in and around the mid 20s, starting to see some humidity building in. Enjoy the sunny weekend, getting back to work Monday, even into Tuesday morning with some wet weather, and a bit of a mix in terms of rainy days and dry days next week, with temperatures looking to be fairly comfortable, aside from that cooler and wetter start to the week on Monday, Tom.
All right, Jay, that sounds good. Thanks very much. Well, it's not every day that you get to attend a summer camp with a world-class athlete, but as we told you earlier, kids at the Alta Gymnastics Summer Camp this week are experiencing just that. Here's more of Colin North's conversation with Halifax's own gymnastics superstar, four-time Olympian Ellie Black.
It's been incredible. I mean, this camp, we've been doing it for such a long time, and to have it in Halifax and have athletes from around the province, but also the country come and be able to celebrate in gymnastics and sport and work with some different coaches and meet other athletes, I think it's a very special camp, and yeah, we take a lot of pride in what we do.
And because you're from here originally, so you remember that local training and everything, and to get to the point that you're at. And when you see this kind of new generation and you're kind of able to get back to them, how does that make you feel when you look back on your career?
I mean, it's huge. It's part of why I love doing gymnastics still, is hopefully making the sport, making impacts and making it better for the next generation, giving them the same opportunities that I was able to have. And as well, coming from a smaller province, sometimes you have this mindset that, you don't have maybe some of the same resources as some of the bigger provinces. But I've been able to train here in Halifax at Halifax Alta my whole career and reach the highest level. And so that's part of my story, and also a part of this camp is to show that it doesn't really matter where you come from. If you come, you work hard, you celebrate, you're passionate in what you do, you can make that dream a reality. And you also get to utilize the other resources that we have, bring in these other amazing coaches, other athletes from around the country to share their knowledge with these next generation athletes who are coming up. So hopefully giving them that inspiration to follow their dreams and have that belief in themselves, and to go home, take that home, use it, and work really hard at what they're doing in their home clubs.
And for people who, they're from the outside looking in, they're hearing about this super camp. We're on Thursday, started on Monday. It's about to wrap up. I guess, what could they kind of expect to hear, or just if you were to describe what the week is like for these competitors, how would you describe it?
I would say it's such a fun gymnastics experience. It also has a lot of development because you get this exposure to national team athletes, to incredible coaches with years of experience and a different perspective to gymnastics. And I think that's part of it. It's also about collaboration. You get to come, you get to meet other athletes from around the country, make friends. Maybe you'll go train at their club someday. So I feel there's so much to be gained from something like this and from a camp like Super Camp. And that's why we continue to do it, and we love it. And I did it when I was younger. I made lifelong friends through doing Super Camp. I got exposure to incredible coaches and other Canadian teammates, and it was just inspirational for me. So I think that's something that Super Camp is all about. We build throughout the week. Hopefully they come in and they get to learn and increase their gymnastics knowledge, work on some new skills that they haven't been able to do, and also have a lot of fun with it. I think that's part of it is, you want to enjoy your gymnastics experience, but you also want to push hard and be able to learn new things and take it back home for what you do every day at home.
We see the signs everywhere, like how much people just acknowledge and appreciate everything that you've done, but you continue to push forward and you continue to kind of go higher and higher. So just from that perspective, as someone who continues to do that, what does that mean, especially when you think of all the work that you've done so far?
Oh my gosh, I think it's incredible, and I think it speaks to the knowledge and the amazing coaches and support team that I have here in Nova Scotia, and the longevity in the sport, and so much that we've learned, right? We've gained so much more education that we can apply to our training every day, and so for me, I think it's just incredible to still be doing gymnastics at my age, hopefully to inspire the next generation that their gymnastics journey can be whatever they want it to be, and not to feel stressed or pressured or rushed and comparing themselves to others, because everyone's gymnastics journey is different. So yeah, just for me, I'm so happy to be able to be here, hopefully be an inspiration for those athletes, to share my experiences with them and my knowledge, and I think it just speaks a lot to where our sport has been and how far it's going to continue to change and evolve in the future.
When you think about sort of the future, and you think about Super Camp, or you think about gymnastics in Nova Scotia, what gets you excited about what's to come?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Gymnastics has already grown so much in this province compared to when I was younger, and I think that's so important because, again, it doesn't matter where you come from, but if you've got those people who are passionate and want to build and be developed in the sport, I think that's just going to help to continue grow the sport across the country, but especially in Nova Scotia. And so I'm excited to just see what these next generations do, to be able to bring in this experience from these coaches and this talent from around. I think it continues to help build the sport. So yeah, definitely excited to see how gymnastics in Nova Scotia continues to build, and we develop these athletes, not only as athletes, but as humans.
Coming up, Canadian and U.S. officials try to lock down a crucial trade deal ahead of a looming tariff deadline. And newly unsealed documents provide more insight into the fatal shooting earlier this year in Tumbler Ridge, BC. Welcome back. With a deadline less than a week away, Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc is meeting again with his counterpart in Washington, looking to stave off Donald Trump's new round of 50% tariffs, which is set to take effect on August the 19th. Caroline Bargout brings us this update from the U.S. Capitol.
Mr. LeBlanc, have we rejected any proposals by the U.S.? We're not talking about that.
Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc and Chief Trade Negotiator Janice Charette are meeting with U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer again today. It's their second meeting this week, their fourth in 3 weeks. They're hoping to get some movement on those 50% tariffs U.S. President Donald Trump threatened to impose on hundreds of Canadian goods, set to kick in next Wednesday for what he claims are Canada's discriminatory trade measures against the U.S. Those tariffs are on top of the sectoral tariffs currently in place on lumber, steel, aluminum, and autos. Earlier this week, sources told CBC News the U.S. offered to reduce the sectoral tariffs, but not to the degree Canada wants to see, so the negotiations continue. The Americans want preferential access to Canadian critical minerals and action on things Trump is mad about, including the ban on U.S. booze. 8 out of 10 provinces are still not selling American alcohol, including Ontario.
We want a fair deal for Ontario. We want a fair deal for Canadians. And we negotiate through strength, not weakness. And we have to make sure that before anything happens, we protect our auto sector, our steel sector, our agricultural sector, our forestry sector, and our friends in the aluminum sector in Quebec. We need to protect the manufacturing sector before we put any booze on the shelves whatsoever.
LeBlanc and Greer hope to come to an agreement that can be presented to Trump as early as Monday, giving the U.S. president a potential path forward to a trade deal. Caroline Bargout, CBC News, Washington.
New details are coming to light on the investigation into the mass shooting in Tumbler Ridge, BC that left 8 people dead. Documents obtained by CBC News and a consortium of media outlets are painting a picture of the events that unfolded in February. But as our Jessica Chung tells us, key details are still missing.
The newly unsealed documents include search warrants, production orders, and sealing orders. Now, the pages are largely redacted, as you can see here, but they do in part provide a snapshot into what happened that day when a shooter killed 8 people in Tumbler Ridge and what evidence police sought in their investigation. The documents say the morning of February 10th, RCMP responded to a string of 911 calls, first at the home of the shooter, which the documents identify as 18-year-old Jesse Van Rootselaar. One caller reported 2 dead bodies and shotgun shells on the floor inside the suspect's home, and they thought the suspect was armed and had left. The police also took calls reporting a vehicle driving quickly and erratically from the home to Tumbler Ridge Secondary School. The document then describes sequence by sequence accounting of officers arriving on scene, hearing shots fired, and entering the school. The document reads, police were shot at by the suspect, which caused them to hold while being shot at. Officers recount finding 6 victims at the school, plus the shooter, who died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Now, it's not clear how much time elapsed throughout this sequence of events, as timestamps were redacted. Now, the documents also laid out what evidence police sought in their investigation, which included computers, cell phones, and cameras that may have belonged to Van Rootselaar. It also outlined when RCMP was notified of the 2 ChatGPT accounts believed to be used by Van Rootselaar. That section was heavily redacted, with nearly 7 pages of text fully blacked out. But it does say, quote, Jesse's ChatGPT account was subject to an internal review in June of 2025 after Jesse's chat conversation discussed matters that could be related to the school shooting. And OpenAI banned Jesse's ChatGPT account and did not notify police at the time. Now, up until this point, these documents have been sealed due to an application from police stating concerns that it could compromise the ongoing investigation. Now, the media consortium has been in court this week to argue for the redacted information to be made public. Jessica Chung, CBC News, North Vancouver.
A Toronto police officer was shot earlier today while responding to a robbery involving a stolen e-bike.
While we are relieved that our officer is in stable condition, an incident like this has a profound impact on everyone in the Toronto Police Service and the broader policing family. It is also a stark reminder of the violence our officers can face while doing their jobs and protecting our communities. Every day, officers put themselves in harm's way to keep this city safe, and what happened this morning is unacceptable.
Police say the officer was hit while trying to arrest the suspect and did not discharge his own weapon. That officer was rushed to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Police recovered a firearm, and a 27-year-old man was arrested at the scene. The latest tactic by Israeli settlers in the occupied West Bank is being met with international condemnation. Already this year, more than 2,300 Palestinians have been forced from their homes in the region. But this week, settlers stepped up their actions, surrounding some Palestinian houses and, according to the residents, laying siege. As Julia Chapman reports, Israel is now stepping up efforts to restore order.
Israel says it has sent in more troops to deal with the situation in the village of Kuzra. The military says they arrived overnight and are carrying out what they call defensive missions and patrols to protect the area. Palestinian families there describe being trapped in their homes after Israeli settlers arrived on Sunday, setting up tents and blockading entrances. One resident told the Reuters news agency that the settlers harassed her family and attacked her home, cutting it off from water and electricity. There are reports of the families running low on food supplies. While the Israeli military says troops are going in to bring the situation under control, the mayor of Kuzra says he has little confidence in the soldiers.
فهم في عندهم للأسف حماية من الجيش، في عندهم مساندة من الجيش، في طبطبة من الجيش، في حب متبادل بينهم، شفناهم وهم يصلوا مع بعض، شفناهم وهم يشوا مع بعض، شفناهم وهم بيرقصوا مع بعض، فيعني مش معنيين كثير.
The mayor refers there to prayer, and footage has emerged which appears to show some Israeli soldiers praying with the settlers when they first arrived, rather than moving them on as they were sent there to do. The IDF says it is investigating. But yesterday there were clashes between them. Soldiers used tear gas to disperse the settlers, although they didn't ultimately leave. Today, the IDF says one Israeli has, though, been arrested, and troops have dismantled illegal outposts outside of these homes. Now, Israeli settlements there are illegal under international law, but they're growing in number, and the United Nations says violence against Palestinians there is on the rise. At a UN Security Council meeting earlier this week, one UN official said the West Bank is at breaking point. The Israeli ambassador to the UN says there are real threats to Israelis. He insists that settlements don't jeopardize peace. And while Israeli leaders do condemn extremist violence, the government also supports the expansion of settlements and provides funding and infrastructure for them. Palestinians also accuse Israel of failing to punish settlers who carry out acts of violence against them. Julia Chapman, CBC News, London.
Ukrainian drones continue to target warehouses linked to Russia's biggest online retailer, Wildberries. The latest attack sparked a fire at an industrial area in the southern region of Russia. Wildberries is often described as Russia's equivalent of Amazon, and strikes targeting their facilities have been happening for the past few weeks. The business disruption they've caused is bringing the impact of the war closer to home for many Russians. In Spain, wildfires have now burned about 2,000 square kilometers of land across the country. That's according to the country's Environment Ministry. The largest fire is in the southwest, and it has spread towards the province of Seville. While in the country's northeast, the Civil Guard has detained one person on suspicion of starting a fire in that region. A growing online petition is calling on the U.S. ambassador to Canada to leave. It says Pete Hoekstra is undermining Canada-U.S. relations, and Ottawa should show him the door. Evan Dyer looks at why he has so many so angry.
I want to just acknowledge our great ambassador. Is he doing a good job?
He's doing a good job.
But according to a petition on the parliamentary website, many Canadians don't agree. As of Monday afternoon, tens of thousands calling for Pete Hoekstra to be kicked out. Whether it's retweeting Trump's 51st state threats or inviting a convicted Ottawa convoy organizer, Tamara Leach, under house arrest to his July 4th bash.
I'm not going to try to analyze Canadians anymore, okay? If they want to be mad about the sectoral tariffs, which are totally legitimate.
Hoekstra has drawn the ire of many in the country.
I'm disappointed that I came to Canada, a Canada that it is very, very difficult to find Canadians who are passionate about the American-Canadian relationship.
He does express frustration, exasperation, grievance with Canada that Canadians find bizarre because we didn't start this, and we're not looking to push it. They are.
Although the U.S. State Department has announced a new era of American dominance, in fact, about half of U.S. missions lack any ambassador, including countries like Brazil, Ukraine, and Saudi Arabia.
It's quite painful for someone like myself who spent 38 years in the diplomatic corps.
Some ambassadors have close ties to the U.S. president. His son-in-law, Jared Kushner's father, Charles, a convicted fraudster in France, and Kimberly Guilfoyle, ex-fiancée of Donald Trump Jr. in Greece. The message coming from the White House is a harsh one, but this former diplomat says undiplomatic messengers can make it sound even harsher.
I'm not sure if it was Will Rogers who said it, but diplomacy is the ability to tell someone to go to hell in such a way as they look forward to the journey.
The U.S. Embassy says it has no comment on the petition. In any case, it's unlikely to lead to any real-world actions, just more evidence of a relationship that soured badly. Evan Dyer, CBC News, Ottawa.
Extreme weather this summer is exposing problems in wastewater infrastructure across parts of the country. As Sheehan Desjardins shows us, the storm cleanup in one southern Ontario city has prompted some to call for urgent upgrades to aging systems.
The water came from everywhere, crashing through windows.
Toilet too.
Overflowing the sewers.
They're floating away.
After back-to-back torrential downpours in the Niagara region.
It was really disgusting color and smell. So I believe that time it might have come up through the sewers. You can see the water.
Linda Hamilton's basement has flooded before, but nothing like that. Thousands of other homes drenched in stinky sewage water too.
It's coming out the manholes right now.
This was far too much for the city's wastewater infrastructure to handle, according to officials.
If there's not new investment from the provincial and federal government, we're not going to be able to adapt fast enough to what is very clearly changing weather patterns, changing climate.
Many cities across Canada are feeling the pressure on their systems. Storms in Ottawa and Winnipeg this summer resulting in millions of liters of raw sewage going into waterways.
We're in like a flood.
In Calgary, a massive water pipe broke last year for the second time. The most recent data from Statistics Canada found that over 11% of Canada's water and wastewater infrastructure is already reported to be in poor or very poor condition. Replacing it all estimated to cost over $100 billion. There are government grants available to municipalities, but
what we need in our sector is long-term, reliable funding programs. Not these once in a few years announcement of a grant.
It was full of furniture.
For Hamilton, the damage is already done. Some special items remain, though.
Some of my plaques and my memories
of her time competing in the Paralympics are still hanging on the wall.
So in here.
And 2 wheelchairs salvaged after she desperately crawled over furniture to save them. Sheehan Desjardins, CBC News, St. Catharines, Ontario.
A spectacular carpet, unlike anything you've seen before, to show you now in Belgium. 140 volunteers spent the morning building a huge carpet of flowers in Brussels' central town square. A giant paint by numbers, you might say, using petals, leaves, and stems, almost 1,700 square meters in size. A giant flower carpet is built there every second year, but this is the first time it's copied a famous piece of Japanese art in honor of the 160th anniversary of Belgian-Japanese relations. Also this year, 500,000 drought-resistant dahlias were used instead of the usual begonias because of the ongoing heat wave in Europe. Canada's main stock index rose nearly 100 points as gains in technology stocks offset losses elsewhere, while U.S. markets were also positive. Here is a look now at the numbers as we head to commercial break. Back to wrap things up with Jay one last time. And Jay, some wet weather in our forecast.
Yeah, we have been seeing, after some decent conditions to start the day, certainly had a fair bit of rainfall, a lot of rain in areas that saw thunderstorms today. We're going to see that risk again tomorrow, maybe a bit more scattered in nature for that thunderstorm potential, but it certainly will be there as we get into the afternoon here in Halifax. For other areas, you may see it persisting a little later in the day as well. Here's a look at what we can expect. We'll time it out for you right now. That heavy rain potential you can see moving east. So there's that thunderstorm risk still there as we look up towards eastern Northumberland, down towards maybe Canso, up into Port Hawkesbury, east into Cape Breton, where we see these heavier, this is a future radar, so it's a forecast model, but this just indicates the potential for more of those locally heavy downpours that we've already been seeing with those thunderstorms. So that will persist past midnight for more northern and eastern areas. Otherwise, we get into tomorrow. I am expecting maybe some fog, some light drizzle, more of a mix of sun and cloud to start the day early in the morning for much of mainland Nova Scotia. As we move into the afternoon, though, this is where we start to see South Shore, you look to get a pass. But as we look up from Halifax, north to Kentville, Truro, and east, you've got the risk for more showers and more isolated pockets of more moderate to heavy rain where we see those thunderstorms developing. Does start to wind down into the evening hours, Friday night into Saturday. That sky clears out. We get a very nice weekend, but still unsettled conditions for much of Nova Scotia for your Friday. So in the morning, fog with a mix of sun and cloud. May see some light drizzle. As we get towards the mid to late morning, that shower potential starts to build in, and into the afternoon, there is the chance for a few more rumbles of thunder that could produce some more moderate to heavier pockets of rain. So another day where we'll need to be sky aware. Maybe not as widespread as today, but that potential is still there for Friday before things really calm down and really become comfortable thanks to that cool, dry air moving in with that brisk north wind late Friday. Really clears things up nicely for Saturday and Sunday. Looking fairly sunny as well.
Yeah, looking forward to the weekend. Jay, thank you so much for that.
Anytime.
It is a big week for PEI's Special Olympic athletes. They are in Alberta competing in the Canada Summer Games. CBC's Taylor O'Brien caught up with some of the athletes last week before they left.
After countless hours of practice, Team PEI is ready to put all their hard work to the test at the Special Olympics Canada Summer Games. 47 athletes and 25 coaches are in Medicine Hat, Alberta this week, representing PEI on the national stage. And at one of their last practices, they were eager to compete.
I'm excited, so I'm really excited, though. It's kind of an honor to represent PEI.
I'm really excited. I'm more excited about the trip, and honestly, I'm more excited to play against the different teams because I've only played against so many teams, but this is a lot more teams that I get to experience.
1,700 athletes from across the country are competing in 10 sports. The national games happen every 4 years. Coach Kieran Goodwin says it's been quite the process to get to the games, and he is unbelievably proud of the athletes on his team.
This opportunity is amazing. It hasn't, gone past me, but no, all the athletes really have put in a lot of work, and they deserve absolutely every single moment of this.
For some athletes and coaches, this is their first time competing nationally. Powerlifting coach Ellen Murphy says some athletes have been working 3 to 4 years to get to the games. Others, even longer. So she says she hopes everybody just enjoys the experience.
The sport is obviously a massive component of it, but it's all those other moments that you get to spend with your coaches and mission staff and everybody else, your competitors even along the way. So it'll be really exciting to get to take in that level of competition, even just being away for a week and getting to see what everybody else is up to.
Goodwin says what he hopes the athletes take away from the games is friendship.
That's what it's all about, is just making friends and just kind of enjoy representing the province of PEI, and just knowing that there's more than just competing provincially or in Nova Scotia. I think just overall, just them enjoying themselves and knowing that they have the ability to do this and make it happen.
As for Mitchell and Matheson, they have their own goals.
I would really like to get a good hit and maybe get a couple bases loaded and stuff.
Just bigger memories and meet some new friends.
Team PEI says they hope they go out there and do their best and have fun. PEI! Taylor O'Brien, CBC News, Charlottetown.
And we wish them the best. Well, no one got a better look at yesterday's solar eclipse than probably these next folks. Those are passengers aboard an airplane that flew in the skies above northern Spain to get an incredible view of the total solar eclipse. Just look at what they saw from their window seats. The plane flew in a position where the moon completely covered the sun. They were among the millions who marveled at the rare spectacle. And that is it for us tonight. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.